So you want to start a clothing brand with your Cricut and a heat press in 2025. I've been using my Cricut and heat press for the past 4 years, so I know a thing or two about how to scale your clothing brand with this equipment. In this video, I'm going to go over every little thing that you need to know, so that way you only have to watch this one video to get you all the tools that you need to be successful. This video is going to be extremely in-depth. I'm going to go over everything, so I am going to have chapters for you in case you need to skip around and get to a specific part in this video. Everything used in this video is going to be down below in the description, so you don't have to worry about trying to find everything. Alright, let's keep this intro short and sweet and let's get right into this tutorial. Alright, so let's start off with the list of everything you're going to need, including the price, so you know how much you have to save up for in order to start this process. The first one is obvious. It's going to be a Cricut vinyl cutter. So me personally, I was on a budget when I was buying my vinyl cutter, so I went with the Cricut Explore Air 2. Besides the Joy, it's going to be one of the most budget-friendly vinyl cutters that Cricut offers. The Cricut Joy might be a little bit cheaper, but it's too small, and if you want to actually make t-shirts and hoodies and designs that are, you know, a decent size up to 24 inches, I expect you guys to get a regular size vinyl cutter unless you're okay with the small designs, small hats, all that good stuff. Then do the Cricut Joy, but go for the Cricut Explore Air 2 if you are on a budget. Right now on Amazon, it is $170. And I only went with that one because, like I said, I was on a budget. If you have the budget to get like a 3 or a Maker or any other vinyl cutter that they have, if you have the budget, go for it. And this tutorial still applies to any Cricut vinyl cutter. But in my case, I used the Cricut Explore Air 2 and it's still going to be extremely usable in 2025. All right, next thing is really important as well. You're going to need a heat press. Now, there's a lot of budget heat presses, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, there's not too many brands that I trust. The one that I use mainly on all of my profiles, all my social media accounts where I do these tutorials is the Fancier Studio. Now, right now I am using a 16 by 24 with the pull-out drawer. That one is about $370, but the one that I started with was the 15 by 15 Fancier Studio. The build is exactly the same, except this one is $170. The only reason why I went from the 15 to the 16 by 24 was honestly just because I wanted to upgrade the little amenities that I had, like the extra space and the pull-out drawer, but it is almost double the price of the 15 by 15. So if you're on a budget, just get the Fancier Studio 15 by 15. I do recommend you guys going for a clamshell style heat press. That way you can control the pressure, because you need to control the pressure when you're working with different vinyls. Also, like if you're pressing DTF or anything of that nature, these are going to be real clutch, you know, having the manual pressure ones as well. So make sure you guys are doing that one and stay away from the 5-in-1s, the ones that have like the mug press, the hat press, all the trinkets and gadgets. It looks like it comes with a lot, but in reality it's going to break on you, especially if it has any plastic pieces. That's why I use right now the Fancier Studio 16 by 24 because I'm on a budget, and I'm assuming you are too. So those are my go-tos. I honestly have seen other brands, but really I just trust these two brands. You can look at my accounts across all social media for the past 3-4 years. I have only used this one and the 15 by 15. So that's the one that I'm going to recommend to you guys. All right, once you have your heat press and your vinyl cutter, you're going to need some heat transfer vinyl. Heat transfer vinyl is what you're going to be loading into the vinyl cutter, so that way when you peel it, you can go ahead and press it. Now, you can go other routes and do like DTF, screen printed transfers and all that good stuff. The only thing about that is you have to already have a design and you have to send it in, and then you have to wait till you get it back. And the thing about that is, what if, you know, you don't like the size, you need to change something. If you ordered bulk, you're kind of stuck with all those. The reason why I like using heat transfer vinyl is because I can make a shirt at a time and tweak things if I need to. Maybe I need to change the color, maybe the size, maybe there was a typo. You're able to customize shirt by shirt and not waste material or oversell yourself on a design that maybe your customers did not like, and now you're stuck with a whole pile. With heat transfer vinyl, once you buy the roll, it's there until you're going to use it. Like I have a bunch of vinyl right here, you know, and I love having it on standby because I'm able to do so much with it. Heat transfer vinyl is going to be an awesome way for you guys to start, you know, working with the colors, seeing what what patterns go together, and just being hands-on that way is going to make you much more educated. So that way, when you're actually buying bulk from manufacturers overseas, or maybe manufacturers in the US, you know exactly what your customer is going to love because you've been able to tweak here and there what's been needed. You know what I'm saying? So heat transfer vinyl is going to be needed. The one that I use is going to be linked down below. I only use that brand. It is my brand. You know, I have plenty of tutorials for you guys across all platforms. You know, the puff heat transfer vinyl right now is extremely popular. A lot of people have been buying that one, getting amazing results, having their customers run back to them. But heat transfer vinyl, there's so many different textures, and I'm continuously adding more and more as my business grows. You know what I'm saying? So don't forget the heat transfer vinyl. All right, next on our list is Teflon sheets. Now, Teflon sheets are gonna pretty much just help the garment not have those burn marks across that is coming from the top platen of the heat press. It just gives that extra layer of security, you know, just to make sure you're not burning any of your stuff. Sometimes the bare metal to the garment can, you know, leave some marks on the t-shirt, and they're basically impossible to get out. To avoid having to buy Teflon, you can use parchment paper. I just think it's not as reliable, breaks down easier, and Teflon sheets are extremely affordable. They're like less than $10 for a pack of 3. You can also get this right here. Is just a heat press cover. So this is how I avoid having to remove my Teflon sheet on and off, is just getting a cover. Or if you don't have a cover, you can also use magnets. Put the Teflon on the top and then just put the magnets. I have a video on that. Maybe it'll be playing. That way you get an idea of what I'm talking about. But Teflon sheets, make sure you grab that for your heat press to protect your garments. All right, now the dope thing about Cricut is that it does come with its own software, Cricut Design Space. There is a free version. The free version has everything that you need. You really don't need to upgrade. If you upgrade, cool, but you don't really have to. The free version is packed with everything you need to customize and import any of your images, designs, whatever it is that you need. Design Space has you. But to run this, you're gonna need either a laptop or a smartphone. So anything you can do on the laptop version of the software, you can do it on your phone as well. So make sure you have either or. If you don't have a laptop yet and you're on a budget, crank out that cell phone and get to work. You can connect Bluetooth your cell phone to the vinyl cutter, so you have no excuses. You can literally start your clothing brand and not even have a laptop. You can simply use your iPhone, and I have a bunch of tutorials on that as well. I'll link actually the one that I had created a few months back where I did a whole drop using just my iPhone. I designed it, did everything through just the iPhone, just to show you guys that there's literally no excuse on why you shouldn't be able to do this. You know what I'm saying? So cell phone or a laptop, either or, you're gonna be good to go. All right, next on my list is extra needles. When you use your vinyl cutter over a period of time, they're gonna get dull. If you have a dull needle, you're gonna end up messing up your heat transfer vinyl, and that's gonna cost you money, so we don't want that. You always wanna have a pack of extra needles on standby. They're really affordable, less than 10 bucks. I've been using the same box for 2-3 years now, still has not run out. But just make sure you have those on standby, because the last thing you want is to mess up your heat transfer vinyl. All right, next is cutting mats. So you get a 12x12 one in the box when you buy a Cricut vinyl cutter brand new, but you only get one, and you're also limited to how big of a design you can cut. So if you have a 12x12 mat, really you can only cut up to 12 inches. On Amazon, there's 12x24 mats that allow you to cut up to 24 inches, which is a pretty decent space, so that way you can get your large projects done. But you need that 12x24, and it's also good to have backup cutting mats, because the ones that we get, they are have sticky glue. It's like adhesive, and it collects a lot of dust, hair, particles, and honestly it starts looking gross and nasty pretty quickly. You use it a few times, you can already see that it starts to get ugly. You can wipe it down, but it is smart for you to just have a bunch on standby, especially the 12x24 ones for your larger projects. It's between 15 to 25 bucks on Amazon, depending on you need the 12x12 or the 12x24, but it's good to have both. If you plan on packaging your own stuff as well, which I'm assuming you are, you're gonna need stuff to create your hang tag. So what I did was I made business cards, business cards off of Vistaprint. I just used the business card setting, and then I just, added my font and all that good stuff, made myself a hang tag. You're also going to need the string and the safety pins, so that way you can, put it all together and put the safety pin on the garment, so that way you can get your hang tag to show. This is a dope way for you to look more professional and having it all be done at home. You can also have you can also get a hole punch. That way you can hole punch the card, and then that way you can put all your stuff in, lock the string, put the safety pin, and you're good to go. All right, next is going to be poly bags for your t-shirts and hoodies and other garments that you make. When you're done making a t-shirt, whether you're stocking it to sell in the future or you're making it for a customer, you're going to want to put it in a poly bag. It's just going to make it super professional. And honestly, I personally hate when I see clothing brands not packaging up their clothes correctly. Like, really, you just got the merch that I'm trying to buy off you in your back seat crumpled up, and now you got it in random bags and you're just holding it and it's all wrinkled. Like, it just does not look good. I stress out when I start to run out of poly bags, because I don't care who's trying to buy a t-shirt. I damn near will not sell you the t-shirt if I cannot put it in a poly bag, because I care about the presentation and when you receive it. You know what I mean? I also recommend getting some size stickers. That way you could just slap them onto the poly bags. That way, if the neck tag is not exposed, you know what size it is. You don't have to open up every bag to see the size before you give it up, before you sell it. So I definitely recommend those. And then the last thing on my list that's a necessity, there are a few other little things that you can grab, but as far as necessities, is a label printer. If you're going to be sending out your own orders, you are gonna need this, because it's gonna get annoying when you have a handful of orders and you're waiting in line at the post office to get them all weighed, boxed up, and shipped out. It's literally not scalable. If you're getting one order a week, 2 orders a week, whatever, you can do that. Just go to the post office and do it one by one. But I'm telling you, once you get a handful, you're gonna want to do that on your own. You know what I'm saying? So there are a few other things. Like I said, it's all going to be in the description, but this is going to be the main stuff that you're going to really need to get started. So that's that part. Let's get on to the next part of the video, and if you have any questions so far, leave them in the comment section. I got you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is start in Cricut Design Space, so I can give you an overview of how to navigate through the software so you can start designing. Okay, so we have Cricut Design Space open. This software is free. There's a paid version, but like I mentioned before, the free version does everything that you need it to. All these buttons are also going to be available on the mobile version, so you're not going to be limited if you're using your phone. There is a lot of buttons going on here, and in this video I'm not going to go over them, but fortunately I have a 45-minute to an hour masterclass breaking down literally every single button, so I'll leave that video in the description. It's a complete full guide, 100% free. I created it for you guys to have that asset, so that way you guys can navigate through all of these buttons, like literally like the slice, combine, attach, all these up here, all of these. So I will leave that for you guys down there. I suggest you go watch that, especially if you're new. It's going to guide you towards the right direction. But for this one, we are going to be a little bit more basic. We're going to go to text, and the font that I'm using is going to be Impact. In that video, I mentioned that's going to be in the description. I do have a breakdown on how to install fonts. It's super easy. So like I said, that video will be there for you guys. This t-shirt is going to be part of my well-paid creator series that I'm doing, and this shirt will be for sale, obviously, if you guys want to support, because all these videos are free. You guys supporting me is how I'm able to do these videos for you guys. So we're gonna do it as 2 layers, because I could do it like this, but what I want the beginning of this to match up with here, and the end of this letter to end up at the same spot as the end of this letter, the D. But if we're having this as one text layer, it's going to be harder to do. So what I'm going to do is, first, the width of this is going to be 13 inches. So now we're at 13 inches. Now we're going to add text. And this is where I'm going to have the creator. Now we can go right here and make this 13 inches as well. And I did that because, you know, now you can see how I was able to make sure this was the same width as the top. That's how I did it. So now we're going to highlight, go to align, center horizontally. It looks like I already centered it pretty good, but that's how you're going to make sure that your stuff is perfectly aligned, so that way it's not off, because if it's even off just by like a little bit, somebody's going to be able to kind of notice. Some people are going to see that as an eyesore, so that's why, like I said, we're going to go to align, center horizontally. Now we're going to want to make sure we highlight, do combine, and either unite or weld, because we want to keep these together. Because look what happens when we hit make and we don't do anything. See how it kind of did its own thing? It kind of put it in its own spot. It even has it backwards. So we're going to do cancel, highlight, combine, unite. So now it made these two layers one layer, but you're able to see each layer by just hitting the drop down arrow. And now it's one layer. So when we hit make, boom, you see it perfectly right there, exactly how we had it on our canvas. And because we are using heat transfer vinyl, we're going to go ahead and mirror. And there you go. So, oops. If you noticed, it is asking me to use a larger mat because it is past the 12 inches. So for this one, we are going to be using a 12 by 24. If you don't have a 12 by 24, you can tape up two 12 by 12s. So you'd have one mat here, put the other one, and just tape it. It's kind of works, but really you should just have a 12 by 24. So we mirrored it, all that good stuff. I'm gonna hit continue, and I will see you at the vinyl cutter, so that way we can load up our vinyl and I can go over the needle pressure settings and all that good stuff. Okay, so I turned on the Cricut Explorer Air 2 and I'm using the Bluetooth setting. So I connected my laptop to the vinyl cutter because I have it on the other side of the room and I really hate unplugging my laptop. Right here we have some regular red heat transfer vinyl. You can see it's red on this side, and we have it on our 12 by 24 cutting mat. And right here we're gonna have our needle pressure knob. There's a few settings. I typically like to keep it on like iron on plus. If you have a dull needle, you might need to crank it up. So what I like to do is I typically, you know, if I'm not too sure about where my needle's at, cut a small section and test out your needle pressure before cutting large projects, especially if you're buying heat transfer vinyl from me, because the last thing I want is for you guys to waste money. You know, I really like to educate you guys, so make sure that you guys are always getting the best results. So I always recommend that. Just do a combination of different needle pressures, because you might not know how dull your needle is, but that's why on our list we ended up putting extra needles in case you need to swap that out. So now we're gonna go ahead and load up our vinyl cutter. There we go. And then I'm gonna walk over to my laptop because there is a fast mode, which is gonna cut this much quicker. All right, now I'm just gonna go ahead and hit the blinking C. That's gonna start the cutting process. And from here, I'm gonna unload it once it's done, and then I'm gonna go ahead and peel it. So I will see you in a little bit when it's ready to be peeled. Okay, so to peel the vinyl, just go ahead and use tweezers and make sure you take your time. Another reason why I love my Cricut vinyl cutter is you can make rhinestone transfers. Yeah, whole rhinestone transfers, fully custom with your logo, text, anything that you need. In this segment, I'm going to give you a small breakdown on how I'm able to do that, and I'm going to leave all the resources for you so that way you can get these projects done as well. Alright, so now we have Cricut Design Space open, so that way we can make our rhinestone transfer. So this right here is the Well-Paid Creator SVG file. I created this using CorelDRAW and the Design Wizard. I do have a couple tutorials on that, but you can also get one of these SVG files customized with your logo. through the order form that's in the description. That is one of the services that I personally provide. Is I create the SVG files with your design, so that way I create the file with all the holes, send you the file, and then that way you can just import this SVG file into your Cricut design space. So the order form for that will be down below. I also create the rhinestone transfers and all that good stuff, but for, you know, some of you that want to make your own stencil with the rhinestone flock, you're going to need this SVG file, and the program is a bit pricey and there is a learning curve. So if you just want to avoid that, like I said, I do provide it as a service. So once we've gone over here to hit upload and imported our SVG file, it's going to be perfectly sized. You're not going to need to change any of the dimensions. That's, you know, the point of it being an SVG file, is it retains that information. So once you import it, it's going to be sized for you. You don't need to do anything. We're going to go over here to make, and this is going to be rhinestone flock, which I'll show you. But you're not going to mirror, okay? So for heat transfer vinyl, I know that we do, but for this project, we're going to make sure it's checked off. We don't need to mirror this one. So now that we have, you know, our SVG file down, we can go ahead and hit continue. So from here, I will go ahead and meet you at the vinyl cutter. Okay, so this blue material C is going to be rhinestone flock, and that's what we're going to put into our vinyl cutter. Once the vinyl cutter is done, go ahead and peel it and the holes come right off. Now from here, just go ahead and add your rhinestones, brush them in, they fall right into the holes, and then just fix any last minute ones with your tweezers. Now just go ahead and add your transfer tape and you're all good to go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be pressing is our heat transfer vinyl. So I set the heat press to 300 degrees. Because for the recipe supply heat transfer vinyl, you're going to need 300 degrees for the regular heat transfer vinyl. We're going to go over the timing in a second. So for this project, we are going to be using a Shakaware drop shoulder heavyweight t-shirt. So if you end up wanting to support me and grab one of these shirts, like maybe like the rhinestone one or something, it's going to be on a Shakaware heavyweight. So you can expect high quality at all times. All right, so before we add our transfer, make sure you give it a nice lint roll, get all those fuzzies off, and we're gonna want to pre-press the garment for about 10 to 15 seconds. This is gonna take any moisture out of the shirt potentially. So that way we can make sure that our transfers adhere properly at all times. Perfect. All right. So I'm usually pretty good at eyeballing this. You typically want to go like 4 finger lengths down. Boom. All right. Oh wait, we have to pre-press our t-shirt. So let's go ahead and pre-press. And then during this process is where you want to test out your pressure. Right now I have it pretty good. It's on there pretty tight. That's why I like to use the clamshell, because on this one you can manually adjust the pressure. All right. Now 4 finger lengths down. Boom. All right. Now I'm pretty good at eyeballing this, but you can always get like one of those t-shirt rulers. I've been doing this for a couple years, so I don't need one, but at the beginning I definitely did use it. All right, now let's go ahead and press this for 15 seconds, and then right here, once we're done, we're gonna peel it slowly just to make sure everything adhere properly, because if it didn't, we'll be able to catch it, lay it back down, press it. But as long as you have the right timing and, you know, high quality vinyl and all that good stuff, you're never really gonna have to worry about that. All right. So I have this mitt that I like to use. You can peel this warm, hot. I usually just like to do this just to, you know, hit any corners. And this is heat resistant. So now we're going to go ahead and peel slowly. And the reason why we're doing it slowly is because we want to make sure every single letter adhered properly. We want to make sure that we are doing this carefully because we always want to protect our investment, right? That's why I take my time and I make these tutorials for you guys, because I want you guys to get the best results at all times. Like I said, especially if you're using my products, you know what I mean? So it looks like every letter so far has peeled perfectly. I could have done it really quickly and carelessly and it would have worked, but I've, you know, just learned in the past to always take my time, because having to repeat any processes really sucks. All right, now that we've peeled, we can go ahead and press this for another 10 to 15 seconds just to solidify it, you know what I mean? The reason why you want to always have high quality heat transfer vinyl is because sometimes if you give it that second, third press, it starts to burn through, and for some reason like the vinyl disintegrates. But if you have like high quality heat transfer vinyl like the one that I'm using here, that's something you really never ever have to worry about. All right, there we go. And this is why I like this vinyl, and it doesn't feel like a sticker. It's really like set into the t-shirt. It doesn't have that stickery feeling, like, you know, when you grab it and it wrinkles up. You don't really have to worry about that with this vinyl. So there we go. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crank the heat press up to 335 degrees, because that is what we need for our rhinestone transfer. That's what we're gonna do next. So let me crank this up to 335 and I will see you guys when we're there. All right, so now I'm gonna be loading up another Shockaware heavyweight t-shirt, and our heat press is set to 335 degrees. Now we're gonna repeat the process. We're gonna give it a nice lint roll. We're gonna make sure we get any fuzzies or lint off of the t-shirt, because sometimes it does press into the shirt and it's kind of ugly to get rid of. There we go. Now let's go ahead and give it a pre-press for 15 seconds. And then we're going to be using the same amount of pressure as we did for the heat transfer vinyl for this rhinestone transfer. All right. All right, let's go grab our rhinestone transfer. All right. Now we're just going to go ahead and adjust it. All right. And there was a few stones that came out of place just because this is a transfer that I have used before. So what we can do is, before we press, we can kind of just guide some of them in. But if you mess some up, it is kind of easy to remove the stones and repress, especially when it's really hot. So I'll probably show you how to do that. The only thing I would have done differently is maybe grab a new transfer tape, because when it's brand new, it doesn't really mess up as often. All right, after this one, I will go ahead and press. All right, so let's go ahead and do this for 15 seconds. And then because I used older transfer tape, some stones got left behind, so I'm gonna go in with my tweezers, add stones that are missing, and go ahead and press again. Like I said, you can avoid that by just using new transfer tape every few presses. This one, I honestly got a lot of uses out of this specific transfer tape. It's because I use high quality tape. I probably pressed like 15 to 20 of these Well Paid Creator transfers with this one alone, but I probably should have gotten a new one, but it's, you know, no biggie. All right, now I just want to make sure everything's nice, ready to go. Okay, so there is a few stones that I'm gonna replace. So very simple. We're just gonna go ahead and add them in, and then just go ahead and repress. And we're just gonna do that to all the spots that we have missing. And that's just, you know, how you're gonna go ahead and repair transfers when, you know, they kind of mess up like that. Easy fix, no problem. Don't get frustrated. The last thing you want to do is waste transfers, especially because, you know, it just gets annoying when you already have them on there and all that good stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest, but let's go ahead and move on to the next part of the video. Alright, so now let's package up our t-shirt, make it look as professional as possible. So right here we have our t-shirt folder. I like to use this to make sure that all of my folds are consistent. That way when I have all my t-shirts packaged up, it just looks symmetrical. It all looks together, you know what I mean? So I definitely recommend you grab one of these. This one is down below also, and I've had this one for like 5 years and it looks brand new, you know, and I've used the crap out of it. So let's go ahead and do this. So this is how it ended up coming out once I added all the rest of the stones. Now I'm gonna grab the stuff for the hang tags so I can show you how it's done. Now some people want like to remove this. This is gonna probably be my personal t-shirt, so I'm not gonna remove it. But if you end up wanting to remove it, these ones are tough. You gotta really be careful. So I like to use a combination of this and this pair right here. You can find these at Dollar Tree. I like to just go in with these, but I sometimes get scared and I'm going to unstitch this part back here because then the shirt's ruined. That's why I don't get too close, and then I just trim it up with this till it's not visible anymore. So that's what I recommend for that. Now the stuff for the hang tags, I just made these on Vistaprint. I have my safety pin, and then I have my string. Now we're gonna grab our hole punch. Boom. Then we can just go ahead and grab our string. All right. Now, I don't like to stab my garment, so what I'll do is I'll either put it like on here, so it's just not on the garment at all. Or if you're gonna remove this, just make sure you put it somewhere in the threading, like in the sleeve or something. Like you see the, if you can open up the inside of your t-shirt, you'll see the zigzags. Put it in the zigzags and just make sure you're not damaging the garment. I really hate when I grab a nice t-shirt and it has the freaking hole in it, and it's crazy. Like, I don't know, it's just crazy. Like, I've gone to the store so many times and they just feel like that's necessary. All right, so let's go ahead and fold this up, and as you're going, just lint roll along the way. There we go. There we go. And then from here you can either go in halves, but I like to do thirds. because I like to make sure that most of what's showing is the rhinestone. It just looks really good. Now we're just gonna go ahead and grab our bag. And if you plan on supporting, like I said earlier, this is how you're gonna get it. You're also gonna get extra stones inside. That way you can make sure that if anything happens to any of the stones, you have extra to repair them at all times. And like I said, that's gonna be an awesome way to support me and the channel. So I have some size stickers right here. I don't know where my other ones went, but this is a medium and I only have a large sticker, but I'm just gonna put it on here just so you guys could see how it ends up looking. If you guys have any questions so far, let me know. But this is what we end up with. And yeah. In this segment, here's a full tutorial on how you can film the highest quality videos with your iPhone, specifically to display the high quality garment you just created. In this segment, I'm using one of my direct to garment t-shirts, which is available if you want to support my channel. Go ahead and grab that t-shirt. But the rules are going to apply to that garment the same as they would with anything you're creating with your vinyl cutter. So if you have any questions during this part, leave them in the comment section. I got you. But this part is going to help you guys so much when you need to make sure you're taking the best quality footage so your customers can really see your garment at the best light possible. Let's get right into it. I'm going to give you the sauce on how to film and edit the best video mockups for your clothing brand using just your iPhone. Make sure you're filming in 4K 60 frames per second. This will make sense later. So the first shot we're doing is a long shot. This shot is going to be further away, establishing the design. Move in a half circle motion, right to left or left to right. The next shot is going to be a medium shot. Get a bit closer, but make sure you can see the whole design still. Make sure you maintain the half circle motion. The next shot is going to be a close-up. Use this to get the details in the design. Alright, now go to the opposite side of the shirt and repeat the same exact steps. Now that we have CapCut open, we're going to slow down every clip to 40%. This is why we filmed it in 60 frames per second. So for the first shot, we're going to be on the left side using a long shot. For the second shot, we're going to go to the right side, but we're going to be using a close-up shot. For the third shot, we're going to go back to the left side, but now it's going to be a medium shot. Now for the last shot, we're going to go to the right side and do a long shot. This is going to give them a chance to soak in everything that they just saw. Now you're going to want to go ahead and export 4K 30 frames per second. Now let's watch the video so you can watch the final product. And there you go. That's everything that you need to know to make sure you get the best quality when shooting with your iPhone. Okay, so now it's time to film a commercial so that way we can actually go ahead and promote our products through high quality visuals. Not necessarily content. I'm going to show you guys how to create content that is, for a building community. For right now, we're going to just be focusing on how to create commercials so that way your audience resonates with the type of visuals you're creating. So one thing you want to really focus in on is the fact that people, when they buy something off you, when they're buying clothes from the mall or wherever it is they're purchasing from, they're buying it because they already see themselves in a specific scenario wearing that shirt or whatever it is that you're selling. So for example, in my case, I wanted to display my clothes in downtown Las Vegas, where there's a lot of clubs, nightclubs, flashing lights, high energy, people dancing. My clothes is meant for people who want to be seen. That's why I have, rhinestones, large text, all that good stuff. So I know who it is that I'm catering to, and I want them to see what it's like to wear my clothes in this scenario. So what I did was I was blessed by Altura, the homies AR, Exile, i5, all of them from, Las Vegas, amazing DJs, check them out. They blessed me, with the platform for me to be able to come in and have them wear my clothes. So that way I could film them and create content out of it. So that way when I released it, the people are literally seeing my clothes being worn in the scenario where I pictured them in. So now they're actually seeing it and they're going to see themselves wearing it and they're going to want to buy. So I found my target audience because I was very intentional with where I was shooting and what I wanted to shoot and how I wanted my clothes displayed. Now, it did take some effort. I obviously had to coordinate, had to drive down there, pay for parking, all that good stuff. But, it's worth it. And even though it is more effort than just, putting your clothes in a random graffiti, background with a random model just posing, like it doesn't resonate. You know what I'm saying? I could have done that, and I encourage you to do those shoots as well. But when you're creating your commercials, create scenarios that you see your audience wearing your clothes in. That is the key, and that's how you're gonna get sales with your commercials. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions about this part, leave them in the comments. But let's continue. All right, now let's talk about creating content for your clothing brand. Now, the thing about content isn't you just putting your clothes on the floor, taking a picture or a video and uploading it and thinking that you're being consistent, because you're not. Being consistent is uploading content that is either inspiring others, educating, motivating, basically just providing value and being there for your community through content. So you need to be solving people's problems, giving them motivation throughout their day and the moments that they need it. And if you knew who your person was, where they're having these moments in their day where you can come in and lift them up through your content, right? So it's really, really important to figure out what problems your community is having so you can figure out how you can curate content that will help them get through that moment. Because when you do that, they are going to lock in with you and they are going to use you as an outlet to express this feeling. So that's why it's important to actually create real content. So for example, my brand is my brand message is pretty much helping creators and entrepreneurs have confidence, believe in themselves, take that extra step to not be in the corporate world, 9-to-5 world. That's my audience, these entrepreneurs, people getting it, hustling, and they want to look good doing it. So what I did was I went and I did a bunch of interviews, pretty much just asking people questions about their business that was gonna create value to the community. So for example, I was asking people questions about how to grow their brand, how to do this, how to do that, because the people that I'm selling to could benefit from the information that is being extracted from these interviews that I'm conducting. And these people end up buying from my clothing brand, even though I didn't make content that was like, hey, buy this shirt. By default, they're going to ask me, where can I buy that shirt? If I make content providing value, they're going to be wanting to buy the shirt. I don't even have to really even tell them like, hey, buy this shirt. They're going to be the ones that ask me. And that's how you create that demand. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why they're buying that shirt is because that's a tangible item to make them feel like they're a part of your community. Your community was created by the content that you put out into the world. This is like real sauce, real game. This will change the trajectory of your 2025. I would hope you're listening, especially if you made it this far into the video, because this is real sauce and this is gonna really get you some sales. Like if you really can just tap into this mindset, So like for example, I've seen people, their brand is catering towards mental healthness, right? Like we want to promote positive mental healthness, mental wellness, health, all that good stuff. If I go on your profile, I should see a bunch of tutorials on how to help me get through my day, whether it's my anxiety, my depression, my motivation, inspiration, whatever. If you claim your brand that it focuses on mental health, there better be content on your page guiding people who have mental health through a brighter and better day. Not going on your page and seeing a bunch of mock-ups of stuff that you're just trying to sell me, because that's not going to work. You might get a few sales here and there, but really the longevity game is not going to be played by doing it that way. So make sure when you're creating content, you're solving your viewers' problems, you're inspiring them, you're motivating them. You can do vlogs. As long as you are actually trying to figure out how your viewer can get something out of this content, you're going to make that sale. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll do my best to respond. I'll see you next video.